I think most importantly, as a business, we have to define what is it that are we looking for.
All right.
What is it that is our goal? What do we want to achieve? And we start building from there. I think once we have clarity in terms of what are we looking for. If what you're looking for, performance marketing being very much transactional orientated will give you just that, by all means do that. We're not saying that everybody must build a brand, but those who need to build a brand, it has to speak to what they're looking for, where they are going, where they are headed, because of, again, what brand builds, in the same way as being very much transactional. I think the important thing is branding is the intentional. The emphasis is the intentional aspect of doing all these activities over and over again. So meaning, if people see me, ideas should they associate with me? And similar to the business, to say, if we are this type of business, what ideas that we will constantly, intentionally will be doing in order to pair ourselves with, so that when people see these ideas and they see us, they automatically connect us with these ideas. The brand is the result of the pairings, and which is what branding looks at.
Welcome to Allos Connect Podcast, where we're talking all things brand, all things marketing. Everyone that has a business or is running a business, their ultimate desire or outcome that they're looking for is that of a strong brand where they have they command their prices, where they have got strong customer loyalty, they've got great advocates, brand advocates, they've got trust, market influence, and ultimately they have a strong preference over and above their competitors, or strong preference over their competitors. To be able to attain those outcomes that they desire, that of a brand, it has to be a deliberate decision. And to help us unpack this great phenomena, we have our resident guest, Mr. Mabusela, to try and unpack why is it that whilst businesses desire this brand outcome, they also unintentionally are working against that ultimate objective. Mr. Mabusela, how are you, sir?
All good. Can't complain.
Yeah.
Always blessed by the best.
Yeah. So that's given that short brief, that's just what I want us to unpack this morning.
Right.
Why do businesses tend to work against their ultimate or desired outcome, that of a brand, in their business? Or they tend to work against that objective. Some unknowingly, of course, and others they just don't seem to care about it. And in your understanding, or in your observation, why is that the case?
Yeah, maybe I might start by asking you to ask the question differently.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you mean by saying exactly what you're saying? Well, I'm trying to understand the question better. To say where are you coming from? What did you actually mean by when you say?
As I'm saying, that it's a paradox of brand in business.
Right.
So this seeks to highlight that businesses are in business.
Right.
But their ultimate desire and outcome that they're looking for is that of a brand, where they have benefits that comes with being a brand.
Right.
In business.
Sure.
Yet, as I'm saying, that their activities, their daily activities, don't speak brand. They speak something else.
Okay.
And ultimately, that seeks to say they'll never actually become the brand that they all desire to become.
Mm-hmm.
So, and to our view, or to my view, they're actually working against the desired goal of becoming brands in their respect.
Right.
So I'm just wanting you, if you understand it that way, why is it that ultimately businesses don't get to a stage where they are brands to reckon with within their markets?
Yeah, I think firstly, as mostly when I respond to such question, I always start with this, that you don't know what you don't know.
Uh-huh.
And that's usually where the starting point is. We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think going further again, the subject of brand, again, most entrepreneurs, most businesses are not very, I think, I don't want to say
or knowledgeable.
Familiar. We are familiar. I think the biggest issue comes where the subject in itself, it comes across to be very complex, given a lot of school of thoughts.
That's right.
And therefore it ends up leaving me as an entrepreneur in a very confused space in terms of trying to figure out what actually is brand, what the brand is not, whether or not do I need this, and what impact and role does it play in my business.
All right. In my brief, sure. I highlighted that. Remember, we're talking about brand in business.
Right.
You can be a business in business.
Sure.
Not being a brand in business.
Right.
And I've highlighted that, to my view, one of the contributing factors is that becoming a brand or building a brand is I don't want to say it's a science, but it is.
Yeah.
It's a science.
Right.
In a sense that it's got components within.
Yeah.
It's got disciplines within itself.
Right.
That a lot of businesses or business owners, somewhat, as you're saying, they might not be familiar with, but others, they are of the view that they are in practice of those disciplines, whilst yet they may be not the correct or the right disciplines that can yield the effect of a brand.
Okay. Yeah. I think maybe just if I hear you correctly, I think if we were to even stretch this wider, in my personal view, I think everybody has a brand, and based on how define a brand, right? Yeah, and right. That would be,
I was coming there,
specifically, a perception, right? So it's a perception that you want people to have about a particular product or service, or business in this case, and the reality, or on a technical level, right? A lot of businesses out there, they're actually building brands. The problem isn't the brand issue, the problem is the kind of brand that they're building is not the kind of brand that they desire.
Right.
So in a sense, you can look at it as there is good brand and there is good, or there is bad branding. And that's where I think that's where the problem comes. Because the bad brand or bad branding essentially would speak to, that's where the frustration comes. That's where all the activities that we are doing, they are pushing or building a perception that we are not happy about.
So that's very important, Mr. Mabusela, but I want you to unpack. I think it's not good brand. Every brand is good.
No.
Brand is good. My view is, you are right.
Yeah.
It's good brand, but bad branding.
Yeah. So remember,
so you have to have a combination of good brand, being a brand that you are, because another definition which I wanted to take you on is that a branding is the unique identity can be in a form of a logo, a name, or a text that separates, that brings about separation between one or the other. That's the definition. So
branding.
yeah, no, brand.
Brand.
A
Right.
brand is
Yes.
a unique identity.
Right.
That you said,
Yes.
and I like that definition or that understanding that everyone
Yes.
is a brand.
Yes.
But there might be branded bad.
Yes.
So everyone is a brand, and
Right.
They are good in that retrospect of
Right.
being a brand. They are a
Right.
brand.
Sure.
They are good. Everyone is a brand.
Sure.
But the challenge is, how are they branded?
Yes.
Are they branded correctly,
Right.
in a sense that they are branded, they are expressed the way they would like to,
Sure.
or they are branded in a bad way.
Yeah.
So I like my understanding of what you said. I like it, but I wanted to highlight that no, everyone is a brand,
Sure.
and they are good brands.
Right.
But the challenge is, how are they branded? That's where we find the conflict, to say you are branded differently, and hence you are not able to communicate who you are to your market, and hence you are not, in a sense, you are not a brand which is in business. You might be in business, but you are not a brand in business. Well, maybe
Yeah,
take it from
because
there.
I think where the reason why I still want to hold my position.
Yeah.
It's because, and the reason why I'm saying, I wouldn't outly translate it as good brand, because the ideas or the results that comes with this brand that I have, they're not desirable for me, for my business. So even though it can be seen as a brand, but it's not the kind of brand that I want, and therefore there's nothing good about it at a level, because of the perceptions that I'm getting from the market about my business are not the kind of perception that I want to be seen out there, and therefore it has a negative. It is brand, but this brand has a negative impact on the business.
No, and I like the discussion, because you are a brand.
Sure.
Are you satisfied with that first stage of being a brand? Because I'm there. I'm asking. We are a brand.
Yes.
Are you satisfied with that stage? Forget what the market is saying. Before the market, there is you in the room, in your office.
Satisfied.
There is Amazon
in
the garage. There is Apple in the garage as well.
Right.
So before the market gets to know the brand, before the brand is in business, it is a brand. Meaning, it's either it's a unique identity, it's an identity. Either it's a product, or either it's a text, either it's a logo, whatever the case may be. Whatever the case may be.
Well, to answer your question, I'm satisfied with the brand.
You're satisfied with the brand?
I'm satisfied with the brand. I might be questioning the branding. I'm questioning the branding. I'm satisfied with my brand. I might not be branding currently.
You might not be branding or branded.
Branding, because I'm saying
you might not be branding.
In terms of present continuous.
That's right.
And when we talk branding
yourself
correctly, because of certain aspects of branding. Because at the end of the day, when you talk branding, there's a lot of activities that you do over and over again to basically shape the brand. So branding is activities that you do over and over again to shape the brand, to shape the perception.
And that's where I am. That's where I am in this paradox that I am picking.
Right.
Those activities are disciplines. They're not just as we go activities. They don't happen haphazardly.
Sure.
You understand? They are deliberate in a sense that there needs to be strategy around them. There needs to be measures around them. There needs to be deliberate boardroom decisions on the very disciplines.
I think even beyond boardroom, I think the important thing is branding is the intentional. The emphasis is the intentional aspect of doing all these activities over and over again. So I'm intentionally doing these
All right.
pairings, the
Mhm.
associations.
Mhm.
So meaning, if people see me, what ideas should they associate
That's
with
right.
me?
That's right.
Because those ideas, at the end of the day, shape the bigger picture, which is my brand. And similar to the business, to say, if we are this type of business, what ideas that we will constantly, intentionally will be doing in order to pair ourselves with, so that when people see these ideas and they see us, and people see us, they automatically connect us with these ideas. So then the result of it is a brand. So a brand is the result of the pairings, which is what branding looks at.
Correct. Now we're coming back to my question.
Right.
Having unpacked that, which is a good set for us. Why is it then? Okay, I'm of the view, or I want to bring it across, that businesses tend to work themselves against becoming brands.
Okay.
They tend to resist
Yeah.
those activities you
Yeah.
highlighted. They are definitely, and not every business works out. Few businesses wake up in the morning or consider the very activities in their daily operations.
Yeah.
Few businesses give thought to those deliberations, those intentional deliberations we're talking about each and every day of their operations. And yet, that's the paradox. Yet, they expect at the back of their mind, they're expecting to command price. They're expecting to have brand advocates. They're expecting to have loyal customers. They're expecting to have influence. You understand? They're expecting to be preferred over their competitors. No, they're expecting, they hope, but they are working against their activities, daily activities, actually opposite or against them becoming the strong brands.
Yeah, I think here the actual topic is about mindset and consciousness. So, because then when we start, I think, having that kind of conversation, I think it takes a different shape. But fundamentally, everything starts there. Mindset and consciousness. Are you mindful? Are you actually conscious? I mean, there's certain things that we are unconsciously expecting to happen. I'm unconsciously expecting that my business will grow just because I wake up every morning and clock in at work and leave when it's time to leave. But in reality, growth, I think, requires a lot more intention. As you said, we have to be purposeful about each and everything. Where possible, we have to be purposeful about the things how we position ourselves, how we communicate, the things we do, and also equally the things that we do not do. Yeah, we have to be intentional about the opposite again, to say, no, I'm intentional and I will not associate myself with 1, 2, 3. In as much as I'm intentional that I will associate myself with 3, 4, 5.
But I want you to be precise, because these are hurdles.
For sure.
These are hurdles that are actually hindering, stopping certain businesses to attain certain levels within their lifespan, within their legacy. I just want you to help a business out there and say they should stop this and start doing that. You understand? Firstly, obviously, the first one could be to do a thorough assessment. Am I a brand in business, or am I just a business? You understand?
Right.
Am I just a business? And what does it take to become a brand?
Right.
You understand?
Right.
Maybe that's that first assessment to say, am I a business? And you do your checklists. Okay, this is what the business does, but this is what the brand does. and maybe I want you to take us just take us to the what you call the phase one.
Phases.
Yeah,
Okay.
the first phase. What do I do as a business? I'm listening to you. I'm
Okay.
listening to the podcast, and I'm eager to understand, to take myself there to becoming a brand and not work against myself or against my desired objectives.
Yeah. Look, I think firstly, I will take maybe a step back a bit.
Yeah.
I think it's very important. I think also to bring this clarity.
Yeah. Yes.
That we're not necessarily saying that brand is better than brand value is better than operational value.
Yeah.
You know,
it's not one over the other.
Yeah, it's not one over the other. You know, you can be a very performance-driven marketing, direct response marketing. In fact, I encourage that as a business, we need to have that component going. You know, we have to have direct response marketing actively, as well as brand. But the advantage is when you are fused the two together. You know, it gives you it gives you relevance in the now, and it gives you even long term legacy.
Yeah.
You know, because then you'll be sustainable even long term. So and each and every component has its own place.
That's right.
You know, I think the important is more about a lot of people, a lot of businesses, particularly I think at the startup phase. You know, we tend to lean more towards the performance side of things, which is reasonably okay. But I think once we tend to stay too long in that phase, and never then transition to the brand side of things, which speaks more about that the futuristic and long term relevance.
And I don't want to go ahead of myself, but I'm thinking, or my other take is that the phase, the phase that we find ourselves in now, or the fourth industrial revolution, the revolution that we find ourselves in.
Right.
You know, I'm of the view that this is a revolution that is in pursuit of brands.
Sure.
You understand?
Right.
Because we are living in the time where there's just a lot of platforms for digital presence.
Yeah.
All those things. Those are opportunities. These are opportunities that are hungry for brands, rather than for just being mere operational, if I may use that word. But as you are saying, a lot of businesses have not yet adapted into fusing the two and bringing about their brands, and aligning themselves with the landscape that we find ourselves in terms of the market. Yeah,
very important, I think, as well. Understanding that you are bringing. I think most importantly, as a business, we have to define what is it that are we looking for.
All right.
What is it that is our goal? What do we want to achieve? You know, and we start building from there. I think once we have clarity in terms of what are we looking for? You know, if what you're looking for, performance marketing being very much transactional orientated will give you just that, by all means do that. You know, we're not saying that everybody must build a brand, but those who need to build a brand, it has to speak to what they are looking for, where they are going, where they are headed. You know, because of, again, what brand builds, in the same way as being very much transactional or operational as well. So firstly, define what are we looking for.
Right.
Once that we get to that place of clarity, then we can then start leaning towards whether it's the direction that we are taking or this is the direction that they're taking. But at the end of the day, that starting point will just help us, I think, bring us to the next level of consciousness.
Right.
So starting clarity, what do I look for, what do I want, and then from then you build up to that next level of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Now you start being conscious about, okay, how do I package myself,
Right.
how do I present myself, to whom do I present myself,
Okay.
how then do I position myself that I'm understood by these people that I want to attract, and you start building on from there. So quick interruption. If you've been sitting here and thinking we actually have the exact same problem for our business, then pay attention, because this is exactly why we make these conversations. Now, this isn't to give you another list of generic marketing tips, but rather to explore the thinking behind branding, marketing, content, business growth, and what actually makes it work. Now, if these are the kind of conversations that you want more of, remember to follow and click the subscribe button. Now, back to it. Very important in that
Maybe
aspect.
if I may ask, is budget, can budget be one of the constraints? Can it be one of the hindrances for businesses in them not looking on the aspect of building their brands?
I can say,
Do they get stuck?
Sure.
When one has to now put the numbers as to say, what will it take for me to be able to build a brand approach? When it comes to my business,
a quick answer would be yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll start with the no.
I'm saying this because you might be having first hand with the clients that you engage with.
Right.
Where does the buck stop? For them to make a decision of taking the brand approach.
I think why I'm answering yes and no. And the no part, I think, brings about the emphasis that where everything starts, it's in the mindset. So the question is, what does it cost for you to actually change your mindset? What does it cost for you to, I think, rise to a certain level of intentionality, and awareness of your surrounding, of your business, of your market space, and what is it that, and what change, most importantly, that you are trying to bring into your customers' lives. That on its own, that requires zero budget, from a budget point of view. And that's where a lot of the brand consciousness, the brand mindset begins. So for brand, definitely no. For branding, yes, because then branding may require, in fact, branding will require you to do certain activities over and over and over and
consistency.
over and over and over again.
Demands consistency.
So, and that there is a price aspect to it. So, and that's what I don't want to be oblivious to.
And you often highlight this, which you've mentioned before, that then when you begin to highlight to your prospect the activities, the disciplines that are there, you've mentioned one, which I had on my notes here, that consistency.
Yes.
And the other one is the return on investment.
Sure.
Because the brand approach is, one would tell me to say, it's a long-term, it's a delayed gratification type of thing. It does not have immediate. It might not have an immediate result. It needs time for it to be able to show what you call measurable result. How would you say about that? Why businesses tend not to go the brand approach? Because of they want immediate results, and at times, not that the results are not there, but there has to be a time element given it to the brand approach.
The large part of it, I think, it's determined by where the business is currently, the stage in which they are. So when and usually, hence I'm saying, with startup brands and startup businesses, for them the subject of brand, it's even like a no-go zone. And at times, understandably, the business still needs a lot of other things that require attention. The business is not yet considerably at a stable level, so there's always pressures in terms of chasing month end, in terms of, all these other things, systems. There's just a lot of things that are not in place, because what brand does, it's all about populating ideas, that you want to be stored in your potential customer's mind. That's the brand approach. And the direct response is about this person, when they see this, they must act. There's a certain call to action that we are trying to trigger from this person, because when this person acts and responds, that can translate to value for the business, and we can then be able to generate income to do certain activities.
But now I'm thinking, and you'll correct me, I'm thinking you are giving businesses a leeway here to accept the status quo. No, because as I'm hearing you, you're saying to me, no, desire the brand results, but desire what brand can give.
Yes,
but pause it. You can pause it. That's what I'm hearing when you say that they focus on that transactional. I'm saying, whilst you also highlighted that the most important thing is to pursue, have a double, both a way of pursuing these things, both of them at the same time. Because customers, yes, I'm doing a direct what you call
response,
direct response kind of approach, marketing, sales, and then you saying to me, as a small business, I can allow myself not to build a relationship with my customer because of I'm chasing the sale. But my desire, at the back of my mind, I also am expected. I want what we call customer loyalty.
Sure.
So when you are in the deliberation of building a brand, a customer is not a customer. It's not just for a transaction. There's just a lot that you have to give thought to when you are having a customer that responds to your product or to your brand.
Okay.
So I'm saying you kind of leaving a leeway. I feel that you are kind of leaving a leeway to say, choose maybe, if not or not. But I'm saying the stakes are high.
Let me qualify.
According to me, the stakes are too high for you to just leave it there, because and I'm taking this from you. I mean, you are an opportunity cost kind of guy.
Sure.
Guy. I mean, it's more expensive.
Right.
What you leave on the table is more expensive.
Sure.
You either pay now or pay later.
Look,
but today, what's happening?
Okay, let me just qualify.
Qualify. I want you to give it holistically.
Let me qualify,
because there's two ends of a stick.
So I think where I'm coming from is about proportions. Because it doesn't help. I mean, I've been in engagements where I'm sitting with a prospect. They came in with a problem. We've built a solution. The proposal is on the table.
Right.
And now they like it. They like what the proposal is. It can potentially create for them, but they just can't pay for it. And that part alone, becomes the stumbling block that basically stands between them, where they are, and transitioning to where they want to be. Now, then the problem then becomes, what do you do in that situation? As somebody who has the solution, this is the person who's relating their position. They just can't pay at that rate. So, what tends to happen is you'll be tempted to sort of go down to.
I once made a statement, and I live by that statement. To say, what would you do?
Yeah.
If you are running an operation.
Yes.
You are operational. You are running a manufacturing plant, and you wake up tomorrow and you find that the operation is on hold.
Yeah.
Because there is a need for a certain machine.
Yes.
And you've got a target that you need to deliver by the end of the day, or you're going to lose a contract.
Yeah.
So when that operation stops, that machine stops because of there's some part missing or whatever the case may be, the belt has what you call as
seized
been
or
damaged.
Sure.
You know what a business owner does?
Right.
Calls the banker now
Yeah.
immediately and say, how much overdrive do I qualify for?
Right.
How much? Meaning, a business person will go to whatever great extent,
Right.
to making sure that those operations continue.
100%.
And I said with that analogy that because of what the value,
Yes.
the operational value, the
100%.
operational value demands that you go all the extent in order to making sure that the operations. Otherwise, you won't have any business.
And here's
is the brand demand.
Here's where the spin.
But what people will do, over the brand, the operational value and the brand value, people will always view the brand value as not that important because the operations are still ongoing. As you're saying that a business client that you always pitch for them the solution for their brand optimization. They will always look and say, no, just because of the operations are continuing, I'm still going to make I'm still going to meet my monthly targets.
Yeah.
This can be on hold.
Yeah.
But the opportunity cost give leeway to that? It's it's a detrimental decision in its own.
100%. And I think the important thing is mindset. Remember, value. I determine as a solution specialist. I determine the price. Right. But the value is not determined by me. It's determined by the customer.
Right.
So as you are saying, if that machine is broken, that customer determines the value. How important is getting this machine running?
Right.
That is the value. And that customer will go at a greater extent or that client or business owner would go at a greater extent to ensuring that that machine is running.
Right.
So the value of that machine running means more to him than it does to me. Right. So, and what it takes for that machine to be fixed, that price, the price is determined by the solution specialist. So, firstly, I think we and in terms of the value part of it, value is very much subjective.
Right.
That one customer can pay more for the very same thing than what the other person will be willing to pay for the very exact same thing, given all things are equal. So that's where the aspect of value, I think we have no control as far as aspect of value is concerned. But here, I think what role we can play as marketers in terms of conscientizing the people, by making them aware. And I think I also appreciate this kind of platforms as well, where we're talking all things brand, all things marketing, with the sole aim as well of bringing a level of awareness into the audience to say, yes, you are running a good business. You are very much sustainable, operational, but amidst that, the opportunity side of things, there's great opportunities that you can actually position yourself to access as a business, and grow, and therefore it is these platforms that help us present or bring the people into that kind of an enlightenment, and therefore things like being brand led, and actually translating it in a more practical. What does it mean to be a brand led business?
Right.
Rather than just being an operational led business. Yes, everything is intact, but it's different. And when we are brand led, the mindset changes.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
How we perceive the very same thing becomes different.
That's right.
You know, as a leader, you know, how I perceive our security guy or our cleaner, you know, will be different in these two mindsets or the frames. You know, when I'm brand led, you know, I understand the equal role that and the importance or the value of the role that the cleaner plays in the overall brand.
That's right.
I understand the perception or the role that even the very person that would be regarded as the least important, but I understand the value and the importance of it. And we always use the framing of a restaurant, that while the core business might be providing dining experiences, there's various other components of the operational value chain which are equally important in delivering to the overall brand, the perception about that particular restaurant. So if the cleaner decides, I'm not showing up, I'm not mopping the floors, and the kitchen lady decides they're not washing the cutlery clean, that on its own, no matter how great the chef will cook, if the dish, the plate, the place doesn't play its part as well, it is detracting, you know, from the overall brand perception. And that's where I think the important aspects in terms of framing and how we approach our business in the two frames. And as I always say, when I'm brand led, I'm more conscious about my customer. I care more about them than I actually care about what they're paying me. Even though it's still important that they still need to pay for the services, but the kind of framing and the approach and how we handle that whole situation becomes different, and they feel cared for, and ultimately they want to belong.
No, thank you. I think you've said a mouthful. I really appreciate it. Indeed. You know, when we talk brand in business, we're talking of a holistic business strategy.
Yeah.
You know, it's a component of a lot of these things that makes
that shape
business in totality.
Yeah.
You know, when you talk the language of brand, that's why you hear the words that brand character, positioning.
Right.
You know, you hear of personas.
Yes.
You hear of there's just
the
a
core
lot.
messaging, the tone of voice.
Some things that in a normal day, in a normal business day, you don't get to hear.
Right.
When you are just transactional, when you're just operational and focusing on the operations.
Yeah.
Yet those things matter, because if your ultimate outcome that you want is that of having strong customer loyalty, you are commanding price, you're having market influence, you've got trust, you've got customers who are your advocates, people who talk about you, whatever. People can't just talk about you. There needs to be something that you have done for people to get to talk about you and refer other people towards your offering.
There's an interesting idea that this guy Rory Sutherland talks about. That value is equally created in the shop as equally as it is in the customer's mind.
Right.
So, from an operational point of view, that same value that we perceive from operational, it's equally created as well in the mind of the customer. So we do not necessarily have to confine value to the operational aspect of things only. That value also can be created in terms of perception.
Right. Can be and must be created.
It has to be created in perception, and
so
a large part of
I think, well, in answering, as we conclude, in answering our paradox or having shaped, I think we have unpacked why we call it a paradox, because we started by saying the expectations are of this nature. Every business desires and wants or believes, assumes they are a strong brand. But we also highlighted that, however, based on our observations, a lot of these businesses find themselves working against those desired outcomes
unknowingly in most cases.
Unknowingly, and they say there's others don't even care. So, but maybe just in as your final remarks, why is it then that maybe I know that because of the benefits, because of what you've highlighted, but what would be your take? What would be your final advice to businesses that are in business and are not brands which are in business, maybe?
Yeah. So I think firstly, we'll start with what you want. If truly what you desire, what you want is to build a big idea beyond transaction. You have to first see it at that stage. What does your business, whatever you do, your company, what is it about this business beyond the transaction? And that's where we find the thing called brand purpose or the purpose statement as well. So firstly, we have to look at up until a person as an individual sees the business beyond the transaction. It doesn't carry a stronger meaning for them. And this is the real why. Why are you doing what you're doing? So for me, I wanted to start there. Because it is at that starting point that truly, I think, shapes how everything else comes into play. To say, no, it's beyond just a transaction. I mean, there's an experience where I've seen and an eyewitness, during a shopping experience, a customer dropped a bottle of mayonnaise and it broke and spilled from the shelf. And in this one specific grocery store, somebody shouted at them, and told them they need to pay for that. Fair enough. In another instance, the manager, this time it was not even the dealer, but it was the manager, who rushed to the customer, and the customer was already panicking and trying to clean up. The manager told them, "Relax, I'll sort this out. You continue with your shopping experience. You don't have to worry about this. Well, it's taken care of." That on its own, changed. Yes, you can write it off as a loss. A bottle of mayonnaise might probably cost about $40 bucks. So $40. No, so I mean, on a spreadsheet, you'd register that as a minus, right? But on the flip side,
on the brand level,
at the brand level, what impression have you left with this customer? And so brand looks at a broader scope.
I've got an experience of my own as well. I dropped the cake at this certain shop. I dropped the cake, bought a cake for my wife. It was a birthday. Rushing, bought a cake. While I was on my way out, it fell.
You're lost.
Luckily, I was at the right brand. Because the lady, I was at the door, already out of the shop. He says, "No, come back, sir. Come get it. Grab another cake." So we used to this. So we even if you can drop it while at home, as long as it's sealed, we'll be able to return and get it. And I was like, "Wow, is it true?" And he says, "No, don't worry. What if you drop anywhere you drop it, as long as it's sealed, you've got a courtesy of returning it, and you get a fully or a fresh, or a still new." Product in replacement. So I felt very special.
And you went back to that shop.
I always buy it.
You always buy it. Would you exactly? And this is where I say, I think, brand, it's a framing of brand. Because then brand positions you to look beyond just the now, beyond today, So, I mean, the next time you come back to the shop, I mean, an average, basket will probably maybe spend about $1,000. That cake it would have cost you about maybe 150, 200 bucks. So, but that experience has said, I'm going back to that same store. I'm going to take my money back to that same store over and over again. You are overlooking how far that shop is from where you stay. You can drive and pass similar other alternatives on your way there. And that's the level of commitment that you feel indebted because of how the brand has shown as well courtesy to you. And essentially, that's what we want to do. If that's a kind of position and space that you want your business to occupy, definitely brand-led is the way.
There you have it then. Thank you so much. I think the paradox of brand in business, very interesting, and we've unpacked why it is that you then have to just move from just being a business. Well, it's got its own benefits, but we've seen that the benefits of being a brand and positioned as a brand far outweighs you just being a brand and targeting sales.
Sure.
Once your approach has to do with treating or having a good customer experience, then you'll get loyalty from those customers. There's just more. But above all, I think what we've highlighted is that this thing is a discipline.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a science. It has certain disciplines that you have to undertake.
You have to be intentional.
Yeah, you have to be intentional. It doesn't just come, and it's not. I don't want to use the word cheap, but the costs the rewards far outweigh the costs. Yeah. Because in totality, it becomes a strong brand equity. It's a strong brand equity at the end of the day, and the longevity thereof far outweighs any in that aspect. So thank you so much for joining us for our session. We'll see you on the next. Thank you.
Sharp.
Sharp.